Well, what about what we showed you at the start of the show? And again, Chris Kenny showed you a bit earlier in prime time. So I'd like to tell you about the other shows as well. I know you're watching it all, and I'm glad that you are. Amanda Stoker is here and Catherine Deves as well to talk about this exchange from Senate estimates. It happened very late last week, but we're off the air on Fridays. So here it is for you on a Monday. This is the head of the Health Department.
Senator Waters used the phrase pregnant persons twice, and I think in response the department used the phrase birthing clinics. Is it the position of the department that men can get pregnant and give birth?
Senator,
I'm sorry to do this to you again.
yeah, I mean, really.
But we need an answer. You are the Department of Health, but people put a lot of emphasis in this.
And you need to get pregnant and give birth, you need to have a functioning uterus. So whatever you call someone, and it's generally very unlikely that someone who is a man would have a uterus and give birth. So I think that's all we can really say.
So only biological women can get pregnant?
Well, you have to have functioning female reproductive organs to get pregnant and give birth. Yeah.
Which would limit it only to women, presumably. No.
Dear God. Catherine, there's so much about this that's weird. How can you not just say no, and then when Twitter 2 days later goes nuts, send the official sort of worded thing afterwards to say yes in some exceptions, people who have transitioned, you can do that later. But it's a yes-no question.
Oh, agreed. And I say to Alex, antic by name, antic by nature. Please keep holding these woke bureaucrats to account. But it's equal parts horrifying and hilarious that our senior medical bureaucrats, they can say the word man, but they cannot bring themselves to say the word woman. Pregnant woman, expectant mother, I mean, it's verboten now, and it is now exclusionary. When you talk about people with a functioning uterus, what about women that don't have functioning uterus?
Thank God you said that.
Or a hysterectomy.
See, this is the thing. I was thinking about this. The millions of people in this, and there is millions of people in this country who've had problems having kids. Mm-hmm. It is so insulting that the concept that, you're not technically a woman unless... again, Amanda, you know what it's like here, right? So I reckon that Brendan Murphy at some point would have answered yes, no. But once you're around the blob that is the public service, you eventually start to know. Nobody sits you down and says don't say it, but you eventually start to know what to say and what not to say. But it's a yes-no question. And if they sack you because of it, well then I say roll the dice.
There has to be a point where the Orwellian doublespeak gets put aside and you just go to common sense, go to what everybody knows to be true. The more words that are used to try and dance around facts that everybody knows to be so, the more it seems that Canberra bureaucracies are out of touch with the lives that are being led by the vast majority of Australians.
But again, Amanda, why does this not take off in, all of the, take your pick from the blogs to the podcast to the Twitter police, all the people who apparently care about female identity, femininity, the future is female, all of that, and I'm cool with all of that. But where is the fight on this? You literally have the health department reducing you to whether your uterus functions or not. And there are people watching us right now considering other televisual options because I used the U word.
It's pretty offensive, isn't it? I mean, we all know what makes a woman and what doesn't make a woman. We know what makes a man and what doesn't make a man, and people will make a range of different choices to identify however they want, but it doesn't change biology. And what we really need to be doing is providing the kind of supportive environments that biological women need and deserve, particularly given they are such a large number of people, rather than trying to erase out of modern lexicon the idea of a woman at all.
Now also, Alex Greenwich gave an interview to one of the Sunday papers. He's a independent member of Parliament who may well end up, if there's a minority government, of a person of great importance. But basically he inherited the seat from Clover Moore, very woke, all the rest of it here, and apparently a woman and issues in and around the criminalisation of abortion were all driving factors behind who and what he is. But Catherine, you noticed a certain inconsistency between the story he tells to the newspaper and the legislation he passes.
When Greenwich talked to Pirate Pete on Sunday in that article, he exposed himself as the biggest hypocrite in the New South Wales Parliament. He was responsible for erasing women out of the Abortion Reform Act. Whether you agree with it or not, we all know women are the sex that get pregnant and deliver babies. But with this particular legislation, we're now referred to as pregnant people. And Alex is also looking to introduce the Equality Bill, which I can guarantee is seeking to denude the concept of biological sex from all New South Wales legislation. It will look to remove the word man and woman, the statutory definitions, and it will be introducing sex self-ID, which means that any man can come forward, say he identifies as a woman and can intrude into female spaces and avail himself of women's sports, scholarships, awards, resources, anything like that. So I would like to say to our Premier, Dom Perrottet, who has 6 daughters of his own, Dom, grow some ovaries and stand up to this parliamentarian who is a complete radical and trying to push this idea that no one agrees with.
Grow some ovaries. That's a new one. Get the T-shirts made right now. All profits go wherever Catherine wants them to. All right, quick break. Back with more. Lots to talk about with these guys, including the latest COVID panic, where apparently the best way to stop the 17th version of the virus is to never leave your house. But voluntarily, of course.